Wonderful. So welcome to the second week of our Advent Mind and Body Retreat. As we think through themes tonight, we hear in the readings this week so much about the future, that the things will come, right? So in Isaiah, the sprouting of the shoot from the Jesse tree will bring about peace. Justice will rule. The kingdom will come. And I found myself being pretty overwhelmed by that and thinking, gosh, everything's about the future. And that's what this season feels like, of always planning and figuring out the thing that comes next. One of the things I appreciate so much about yoga and mindfulness is that it's such a grounding in the present. But that can certainly be a tricky place as well. We can lose sight and get stuck in the present as well, and really lose hope that anything might change. So I think the challenge of Advent is to stand in the present and believe that there can be more. That justice will rule doesn't have to mean that it's centuries away, but it might make its way now when we partner with God, with his love and his peace. So the future that the prophets speak of is always a challenge to see the present in a new way. So that's what we'll focus in on tonight. Friday's gospel was particularly stood out to me with this challenge to hope for something new in a very simple but very radical way. So Jesus is approached by two blind men who come to him asking for healing and asking him to have pity on them. And he asks them this very simple question. He says, "Do you believe that I can do it?" And on the one hand, it seems silly because they've sought Jesus out. So certainly there's already this sense that they know who he is and desire healing and trust that it could happen. But on the other hand, it's the ultimate question of our faith. Do we believe that Jesus can heal? Do we believe that there could be more to this life? Do we believe in the promise of salvation? And Jesus doesn't ask us if we're going to believe, but do we believe in that possibility of healing right now? Can we see with literal new eyes? So Jesus tells the blind men that they will be healed according to their faith. So how healed they can expect to be is commensurate with their faith. And so when we think about that question being asked towards us, how big are we willing to dream and hope? I don't think that this is Jesus reverting to promotion of the prosperity gospel or karmic morality, that we're doled out evenly what we get necessarily, but it's rather an invitation. Are you willing to believe that God could do even more in your life? Are you willing to see beyond this moment and hope in the possibility of a new door being opened? So as we begin tonight, we begin with that question. What is it that you desire? What are you asking from God? And do you hope in it? Let's take a moment as we begin. Remember that we are always in the presence of a God who loves us deeply. And as you become aware of your breath this evening, notice where and how it's flowing. And then bring your focus inward and see if you can listen to your heart. Perhaps begin by listening to the beat of it, the rhythm. What do you desire to see with new eyes? And take a moment and share that. with Jesus. Let's move on to our backs. We'll place our feet on the ground, knees bent. And continue to be in touch with your breath here. Perhaps even placing one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. Allowing your belly to rise and fall. Also feeling your back body expand towards the ground as you breathe in. And as you exhale, feeling your belly come down and your back come up. Tonight we'll work on a new breath. So we'll take our arms down by our sides. This is called a extended exhale breath. We begin with an even inhale, even exhale, and then we'll extend. And I think that there's an element of trust here in this breath. So with some movement to add to it, let's begin by inhaling for a count of 4. Lift your hips up towards the sky, arms come up and over, and then exhale 4, 3, 2, 1, and place your hips back down on the ground. Continue to inhale for 4. Hips rise, arms come up overhead. And this time, take a count of 5 as we come down. Inhale for 4. Exhale 6. 1. Inhale for 4. Exhale for 7. 1. And this will be our last time. Inhale for 4. See if you can extend your breath for a count of 8. Lowering your hips and your arms with your breath. And then when you release, return to normal breathing, just to a nice even inhale and even exhale. And notice how that feels, creating more space in your lungs, in your torso. Then let's take our feet out as wide as our mat. And if you'd like to open up through your chest, you can cactus your arms. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, allow both knees to fall over to the right. Inhale up through center. And exhale, drop your knees over to the left. Inhale up through center. Again, exhale over to the right. Breathe in through center. And exhale, windshield wiper to the left. One more time each side. Breathe in. Let it go. And then breathe in. And let it go to the other side. Bring both knees back up towards center and then interlace your hands around your right knee. Bring it in towards your chest and extend your left leg out. Squeeze your knee in, up towards your armpit. Flex through your left foot. If it's more comfortable for your low back, you can keep your left knee bent and left foot on the ground and just push into the ground. And then set your right foot down on the ground. Right foot's about at your knee. And move into fallen tree pose here to open up our hip. So arms can rest down by your side. As you exhale, Drop your right knee down towards the ground. Your right foot then faces your thigh, like you're in tree pose. Inhale it back up to center, knee towards the ceiling. Exhale, drop your knee down towards the earth. Inhale up towards center. Exhale, drop your knee down. Inhale up. And then this time we'll drop our knee down and we'll hold. You can place a pillow or a block underneath your knee if there's any discomfort. As you come into fallen tree pose here, flex your left foot. See if you can make your hips even. Feel your shoulder blades on the ground. Allow your chin to not be cocked one direction or the other, but a nice neutral spine. And think about this as the longest that you could be. If you were standing, it could be your tallest position. A fallen tree is often a place for new growth. An animal finds its home, some sort of moss or plant begins to grow from it. There is something new. As you rest in fallen tree for about 6 breaths, what newness might be here? One more breath. And then as you release, you can use your right hand to bring your knee back up towards center. Then take your left hand to your right knee. We'll come into a twist. The right arm can come out to the side, and then allow your right knee to come over your body. Your bottom leg can stay straight or bend, whatever's more comfortable. Gaze up at the ceiling or over to the right. A bit of unwinding. As you inhale, lengthen your spine. And as you exhale, allow your right knee to be heavy as you rotate your spine. Belly button moves to the right. And one more breath in, we'll come back to center. Place both feet on the ground again, knees bent. Pause here for a moment, noticing differences between your right side and your left side. And then let's bring our hands interlaced around your left knee, and you can extend your right leg out or keep the knee bent with your right foot on the mat. As you pull your knee in towards your chest, gently resist and push your knee into your hands. Feel how that engages your low back. Finding strength here and support. We did this posture standing last time. What's it like to have the support of the ground beneath you? One more breath in and release. Set your left foot onto the earth, just above your left knee. Arms open up to the side. And as you exhale, you'll open up your left knee down towards the earth. Inhale it up. So we have some core engagement, opening in your inner thigh. Exhale, open. Inhale up. Exhale, open. Inhale up. And this time, open up and allow your left leg to stay. So come into fallen tree. Find your pose, adjust your shoulders as necessary. Check in with your neck. Flex through your right foot. Fallen has a negative connotation often to it, right? Particularly in terms of there being something wrong and unstable. We are a fallen people, a wounded people. But oftentimes that is the place where we learn to be loved and consequently to love in return. Jesus was never afraid of the fallenness of anyone. And rather than shying away from them, that's exactly where he went with people. And so here in this fallen tree, where might be the places that hope might be trying to enter. About 4 breaths here. And then on your next exhale, use your hand to bring your knee back up to center. Come to twist on the other side. Right hand to left knee, maybe bending your right knee. Allow the left arm to extend out to the side and let your left shoulder be heavy. Gaze up at the ceiling or over to the left. Let's take 3 more breaths here in our twist. And exhale, come back to center. Again, place both feet on the mat. Take a moment to notice in your body. Gentle, slow movements. And let's bring both knees into our chest. If it feels good to rock side to side, feel free to do so. And we'll work our way up towards seated. So you can roll up, come up however feels good. Pause here in seated for just a moment. We inhale, arms up above our head. And exhale, take a twist, right hand to left knee, left arm behind you. Inhale back up through center. And exhale the other side, left hand to right knee, right arm behind you. And let's inhale up to center. As we come forward, move into tabletop position. Knees underneath your hips, hands underneath your shoulders, nice flat back. And we'll take a couple of rounds of cat and cow. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your chest. And exhale, curl your tailbone under, chin to chest. And take 2 more rounds of cat and cow, giving our spine a chance to move, flexion and extension. And then find a neutral spine. And we'll inhale our right leg back. You can stay here, or you can extend your left arm forward as well. Feel length through the crown of your head and flex your toes. Exhale, release your left hand down and bring your right leg through to a low lunge. Come up onto our knee here. Back toes can be tucked or flexed, whatever feels better for you. And let's inhale our arms up above our head. Exhale, cactus your arms. Inhale up. And exhale, twist. Left arm forward, right arm back. Scissor your legs together. Allow the belly button to move towards the right. Let your right hip move back just a bit. And then inhale up to center. And exhale, we'll fold forward here. And then walk your hands around over to the left. We're going to come into gate pose. So extend your right leg out. We're standing on our left knee. Right foot is on the ground as much as possible here. Okay. Let's take our arms out to the side, nice parallel arms. See if you can drop your right hip down and over to the left just a bit. And then exhale, tip. Right hand down towards your right leg. Don't leave any pressure on your knee. And back up to center. Exhale, tip. Back to center. One more time. This time we'll hold here. Think of gate pose as this opening of a door. As we hold here, let's exhale, left arm down, and inhale it up. Think of the slow openings. That's so much of the Advent message of patience. Not that we have to wait for everything to only happen in the future, that we can be attentive and present to what's happening right now. Up and hold. Take 2 more breaths here. And then exhale, release, back through center. We'll bend our right knee and have your right toes point towards the top of your mat. So now we're in warrior 2 on our knees. A little bit of a different feel on our hips. Nice and strong here. Make sure that your knee's over your ankle. And then exhale to a side angle. So notice how different or similar this feels in gate pose. Same idea, but we've got a little bit different happening in our hips. And let's release through warrior 2 and reverse your warrior. You take your gaze up to your right hand. Continue to move your hips a bit forward. And then exhale, we'll unwind down into tabletop position. And pause here. The next side, extend your left leg back. And if you like, extend your right arm forward. Final balance. Reach and extend. And then exhale, release. Right hand to the mat. And left leg comes through to a low lunge on this. You take a moment to find your lunge, square your hips. And once you are there, inhale, arms up above your head. Let this be an exalted pose. Lift your heart, lift your eyes towards the hope of Advent. Exhale, cactus your arms. Inhale up, and then exhale, twist. Right arm forward and left arm back. Left hip comes back. Inhale, back up to center. And then exhale, release your hands down and we'll come to gate pose. Lift up. But my back's not to you. So left leg is extended. You're standing on your right knee. And then inhale, arms out to the side. Really try to push down through your right foot, or I'm sorry, through your left foot. Inhale. Exhale, tip. Inhale back to center. Exhale, tip. Inhale back to center. Exhale, tip, and hold. This hips shift gently towards the right. And allow your arm to exhale with your breath as it comes down. And inhale. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up and hold. Drop your shoulders away from your ears. And then exhale, release. We'll come back to center and transition to warrior 2. So bend the left knee, Left toes point to the top of your mat. And spread your arms wide. Feel that space in between your arms and the ground. Exhale, release to side angle. Inhale back through center. And exhale, reverse your warrior. Drop the shoulders away from your ears. Back through center. And then find yourself back down towards tabletop. We'll take our hands in front of us just a bit and lower down onto your belly. So we come into Sphinx pose. So elbows are in towards your chest, and then move your hands towards the top of your mat so that they're like a number 11. Lift your chest, roll your shoulders down away from your ears, push your feet into the ground, push your hips into the ground. Allow your chin to be about parallel to the earth. If that's tender on your chin, you can have a more humble Sphinx pose here. And use your hands, shift them back just a bit so that your heart can move just a bit forward. Heart opener, but it's supported. Feel into your side bodies. And lifting up towards the sky. Although I always find in this posture that it feels like there's so much resistance. Breathe through it. And then exhale, slowly release. We'll take a rest on our belly. You can either take one ear to the mat, make a pillow with your hands, and allow your forehead to rest. Notice how different your breath is with your belly down towards the mat. One more breath in here. And then as you release, bring your hands underneath your shoulders, tuck your toes, push yourself back up into tabletop. And then we'll continue to tuck the toes as we lift our hips up and back into downward facing. Settle out your heels. And get a deep bend in your knees so that your head can move closer towards the mat. And then find some stillness here in downward facing. Hands are spread nice and wide. Knees may still be bent. One more breath in here. And then as you release, let's walk our feet towards our hands. Come into a forward fold. Allow your head to hang. Bend your knees a lot. And we'll take a twist here that we will flow and then hold. So beginning by bending into the right knee, right hand in front of your knee. Inhale, lift the left arm. Exhale, come back through center. Bend the left knee. Inhale your right arm up. Bend back through center. Bend to the right, lift the left hand. Exhale through center. Bend your left knee, lift your right arm. Take 2 more rounds on your own, just breathing and opening. Our side bodies are the windows into our heart. So as we twist through here, we bring a little bit of ability to open up. Next time that you are having your right knee bent, let's stay and hold there. And this arm can either stay up, or you can take it to the small of your back for a little bit of a bind. Begin to stack your shoulders. Bring the weight into the heel of your left foot. One more breath in. And release. Come back to center. We'll hold on the other side. Bend into your left knee. Inhale your right arm up. And possibly bring the right arm to the small of your back on the left side. Push into your right heel this time. And exhale, release back to center. Allow your hips to both be even. And then we'll slowly roll ourselves on up to standing. Allow your shoulders to move down away from your ears. And find your feet. Take a moment to lift all 10 toes. And then slip them down. As you lean a little bit forward and a little bit back, find center. And then let's inhale our arms up above our head. Exhale, drop your right arm down, left arm up and over for a lateral stretch. Stretching along the left side, push down to your left foot. Inhale back up to center. And exhale, other side. Inhale back up through center. Exhale, forward fold, hips go back. As head comes down. Inhale, halfway lift. Lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold. And as we come to stand, we'll come into chair pose. So feet can be about hips distance apart. Sit back, bend the knees, and inhale your arms up by your ears. If this isn't uncomfortable, you can have your hands at your heart center. Inhale, reach, and exhale, airplane your arms. If you're here in heart center, you can just airplane through heart center. Inhale up, and exhale back. Inhale up, exhale back and hold. Now bring your hands to heart center. And we'll push down through our left foot as we come to standing one-legged mountain, right leg lifts. Find strength in your left foot. Flex through it just like we did on our back. And then one more balance challenge here. We'll take our arms down to our sides for airplane. Straighten your right leg. Take it behind you for warrior three. And we keep our head and our foot in balance with each other. Keep your chest lifted, working towards bringing our chest parallel to the earth, but it's not essential. Inhale back through one-legged mountain. Your glutes feeling it. And exhale, set it down. Inhale up. Exhale back. Inhale, reach tall. Exhale, lateral stretch over to the right. Inhale back to center. Breathe out the other side. Inhale up. And exhale, fold. Breathe in, halfway lift. Breathe out, fold. Bend your knees, hips go back. Inhale to chair pose. Inhale, reach. Exhale, airplane. Inhale, reach. Exhale, airplane. One more. Inhale, reach. Exhale, airplane. Bring your hands to heart center. This time our right foot's our standing leg. Come up to one-legged mountains. Create some space between your ears and your shoulders. Notice if you're clenching your jaw. Always feel free to use a wall for some support. Move into warrior 3. Find something to gaze on, something to keep your focus. A little lightness in your left heel. Inhale back up through one-legged mountain. And exhale, set your foot down. Inhale up. And exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale all the way down. This time we come all the way up to mountain. No more chair pose. And exhale, handstand breath. Work our way into tree pose. Let's begin with our left leg as our standing leg. And just take a moment to really be attentive to the strong foundation. So the 4 points of your foot, your big toe, your pinky toe, and then both ends of your heel, push down, your arch lifts. And let's take our right leg up into one-legged mountain, and then open it up the same way that we did in fallen tree. And then from here, you can decide where you want to take your tree pose. Might be as a kickstand and you keep your toe on the ground, maybe along your shin somewhere, calf, or maybe above your knee. Just make sure that it's not on your knee. Oh. And as your right foot pushes into your left leg pushes back. So we have this, this tension there, drawing us to be taller. Also let's allow the right hip to drop down just a bit so that our hips are even. Bring your hands to heart center. No longer a fallen tree, but a standing one that may or may not feel stable, but that has possibility, like the shoot that sprouts from the Jesse tree. Take 2 more breaths here. And slowly release. Before we move to the other side, let's take our legs a bit wider and just do a floppy arm twist. Allow your twist in your legs and in your upper body. And then come find stillness here. Bring your attention to your right foot, or 4 corners of your right foot. Strong foundation like a suction cup. And then we'll lift our left leg into one-legged mountain. Allow the left leg to open up. And then find where you place your foot. Might be the same spot on this side, might be a little bit different. You might try one spot and think, I don't think so today, right? And as you find something to gaze upon that is not moving, allow yourself to feel the space between where your eyes are focused and where you are. You feel the way that your breath moves in between that space. Maybe that's a good metaphor for being grounded and present and looking ahead with eyes of hope. Two more breaths here. And slowly release. Let's take our feet nice and wide. Heels in, toes out. Inhale your arms up above your head. And then exhale, forward fold. So you may want to adjust your feet a bit more parallel for the forward fold. Let your hips reach up towards the sky. Hands can be right underneath your shoulders. You can grab your feet or your ankles. Always feel free to have a bend in your knees. Taking care of your hamstrings, whatever they need. One more breath in here. And then as we release, we'll toe heel our feet in just a bit and come into a deep low squat. So heels are in, toes are out. If your hips don't want to do this tonight, you can stay up high. Feel the energy pull you towards the earth. Use your elbows to open up. And then exhale, release. Come down to seated. Let's take our feet into butterfly position here. So the soles of your feet are together. If you have a block, maybe you want to place it on your feet as we take a forward fold. Let's ease into it. So inhale, sit tall. Exhale, come forward 25%. Inhale, back up. Exhale, come forward 50%, where your hands might shift. Inhale, back up. Come forward 75%. And back up. And then come down whatever 100% looks like. So if you have a block, if you don't have a block, you can just allow your head to rest. Let's take 4 breaths here. And then slowly release. Set your block to the side. Keep your legs as they are. You might need to scoot down towards the bottom of your mat. Bring yourself down onto your back with your legs in butterfly position. Take one more posture before our final resting pose. Let's stay here for about 4 more breaths. This tree pose allows us to open our hips individually. Now notice what it's like to have them both open at the same time. And on your next inhale, you can use your hands to help bring your knees back together. Allow your feet to be hip distance apart, toes pointed towards the bottom of your mat. And bring your feet in so that if you reach your fingers out, you just about touch your heels as we come into bridge pose. So arms are down at your side, then bend at the elbows, fingers point up towards the ceiling, bring your elbows in towards right next to your torso. Deep breath in. And then as you exhale, push down through your feet like we started. Also push down through your upper arms. And if it feels good, you can walk your shoulder blades a little bit closer together. Hips lift up as you push down through your feet. Attentive of your neck to keep it neutral here. You see that our throat gets a little bit cut off. We want to keep our breathing flowing, of course, but feel a little bit of constriction there in the throat. 3 more breaths here in bridge pose. And slowly exhale, release. Unwind, unfurl your shoulder blades. And then take whatever feels good. If that might be some windshield wipers. Might feel good to bring your knees in towards your chest. Wherever you are, we'll just take our feet up towards the sky, allowing some of the blood to drain from our feet after doing so much standing. If you have a block and you'd like to, you can place the block underneath your sacrum on its lowest setting. A little bit of elevation might feel good. Legs up the wall, wonderful posture for closing down the day, welcoming calm and rest. You can do this up against a wall, literally for legs against the wall. Great posture to take before bed. And if this feels good and you want to stay here longer, feel free to do so. Otherwise, begin to transition into your final resting pose. We'll pause in final resting before we do our final meditation for a few minutes. So that may look like legs extended. You could also keep your knees bent and let your knees knock in towards each other, feet wide. In a season that demands so much productivity, being here in this pose can be a huge challenge. We might have expectations for final resting pose that are just not possible. So if your mind is racing, allow the thoughts to move through instead of resisting. But see if you can bring your attention to your breath. Bring your focus there. If the extended exhale that we did together at the start of class is helpful here, you can do that. Otherwise, allow yourself to breathe normally, but follow your breath. And now send your breath throughout your whole body. Begin to bring some gentle movement to your fingers and your toes. And you're welcome to stay laying down if that's more comfortable for you for your final meditation. But if you'd like to, come to seated, maybe even move to a couch or a chair. Do a more traditional Ignatian contemplation tonight, using scripture and inviting the Spirit to help bring us into it, to see ourselves as a part of it, part of the story. I use the gospel from last Friday that I opened with today. So I invite you to go back to the question, that you asked yourself? Where are you struggling, or where do you desire to see with new eyes? And as I read through the story, try to picture it with as much detail as you can, perhaps engaging all 5 senses. See what you see and notice. Notice what you notice. As Jesus passed by, 2 blind men followed him, crying out, "Son of David, have pity on us." When he entered the house, the blind men approached him, and Jesus said to them, "Do you believe that I can do this?" "Yes, Lord," they said to him. Then he touched their eyes and said, "Let it be done to you according to your faith." And their eyes were opened. And Jesus warned them sternly, "See that no one knows about this." But they went out and they spread the word of him throughout that land. As I read through a second time, imagine that Jesus is speaking directly to you, that you are one of these blind men. Maybe your issue is blindness, maybe it's something else. But you are the one who calls out to Jesus, saying, "Have pity on me." So allow yourself to set that stage. And then give yourself the space to see yourself in the story. As Jesus passed by, 2 blind men followed him, crying out, "Son of David, have pity on us." So who might be with you? Who's this other person? And what is it that you hope for? When he entered the house, the blind men approached him, and Jesus said to them, "Do you believe that I can do this?" How do you feel when you hear Jesus say that? "Yes, Lord," they said to him. What does your yes sound like? Then he touched their eyes. What do the hands of Jesus look like and feel like? What does his hands touching you sound like? Let it be done for you according to your faith. Take a deep breath in and take in that invitation, an invitation to believe more. And their eyes were opened. And Jesus warned them sternly, "See that no one knows about this." How would you react? But they went out and spread the word of him throughout the land. Take a few moments in silence to be in what St. Ignatius calls a colloquy with Jesus. After having this experience, what do you want to say? Do you have questions? Do you just want to listen? Know that this is a conversation that you can go back to at any point this week. Maybe by rereading the story or just re-entering back into the scene that you've created. As you bring your conversation with Christ to a close, return your focus to your breath and let it ground yourself in this moment. Take a moment to offer any intentions that you hold in your heart and want to express to Jesus. And then return your focus again to your breath. The breath of the Spirit who always accompanies us on our way. And let's take a closing breath together. We inhale, our arms up above our head. Exhale, hands to prayer. Thank you so much for being with me tonight. I wish you a blessed second week of Advent, second and a half week. And look forward to spending next week with you, Gaudete Sunday. We look with a little bit more joy and not just hope. So peace and love to you. Thank you. Thanks so much, everybody.